Today I'm going to read some Lucille Clifton because I'm in the mood to be happy. She makes me happy. When I was in my first poetry class, one of the poets that I was introduced to was Lucille Clifton. And I got her great big book called Good Woman, Poems and Memoirs from 1969 to 1980. So that's a whole lot of poems for a woman to write in that period of time. She has written several books of poetry. I recommend that everybody read her. Her poems are not punk, not no. There's no capitalizations in them, and when you hear them, you can hear her voice in them. And she said once, I think, and I'm probably misquoting her, so I'm just gonna say softly quote her, that she was asked why she writes poems like a black woman, and she said, well, I am one. What else, basically, what else am I supposed to write, you know? But you know, the poems I'm going to read today are just three, but I'm going to do more of her because I absolutely, like I said, fell in love with Lucille Clifton. And for a time there, every time I went to go pick up a poetry book, I picked up Lucille Clifton. And I'm surprised, I'm so surprised that Maya Angelou is known more than Lucille Clifton. Maya Angelou's poetry to me is not the quality that Lucille Clifton's is. And I'll probably be flailed for saying that, but that's just the way I feel. I mean, Maya Angelou has done some amazing things, but her poems are inspirational and easy and fun all the time. Lucille Clifton's are not that way all the time. They're kind of complicated, a little bit dirty sometimes, which might be what I like about her so much. But anyway, see, I have to tell you about the dream I had when I was in that mode where I was reading Lucille Clifton all the time. I had this dream because I was trying to be a poet. It was a poetry writing class, and so I was writing poetry at the same time that we were reading it and trying to get the rhythm, the meter, the idea of what poetry was and what limitations it has and what limitations it doesn't have. And so I was reading so much of her that I had a dream that I met her. This is Lucille Clifton. There you go. I had a dream that I met her, and when I met her, I went up to her and I said, I want to be a poet like you're a poet. I want to be a poet like that. And she goes, well, here, this is all you have to do to be a poet. And she lifts up the lid on this serving tray, and it's a big plate of shit. And basically, she was saying, if you want to be a poet, you've got to eat this entire plate of shit. And then you can be a poet. So anyway, so I wrote her a letter telling her that I had that dream, and I never got an answer from her. Probably because she probably thought I was insane. Maybe I am. But I told her about the dream in there, so she probably thought I was insane. Anyway, she has a good friend named Maud Meehan in California who also wrote a book of poetry called Washing the Stones. And Maud Meehan and Lucille Clifton are good friends. Were good friends. I don't know if they still are. I imagine they are, if they're both still here. Well, I know Lucille Clifton. I don't think she's died, but I don't know about Maud. She was having some health problems last I heard. But Maud Meehan lived in Santa Cruz, and so I wrote her a letter. She wrote me a very kind note back and invited me down to Santa Cruz to have a lunch with her, which unfortunately my life was so busy at that time I never got down to have lunch with her. Anyway, I better hurry and read some poetry, or else it's just going to be a very long video and no poems. So this is part of my introduction to Lucille Clifton. If you haven't read her, pick up a book and read her. She's absolutely amazing. And she's a living, breathing, beautiful woman poet. So anyway, the first one is called Homage to My Hips. These hips are big hips. They need space to move around in. They don't fit into little petty places. These hips are free hips. They don't like to be held back. These hips have never been enslaved. They go where they want to go. They do what they want to do. These hips are mighty hips. These hips are magic hips. I have known them to put a spell on a man and spin him like a top. Okay. The next one, I'm reading 3 in a row, page 168, 169, and 170 in this book. The next one's called What the Mirror Said. Listen, you a wonder, you a city of a woman. You got a geography of your own. Listen, somebody need a map to understand you. Somebody need directions to move around you. Listen, woman, you not a no-place anonymous girl. Mister with his hands on you, he got his hands on some damn body. And the last one, page 170, has no title, but I like it. There is a girl inside. She is randy as a wolf. She will not walk away and leave these bones to an old woman. She is a green tree in a forest of kindling. She is a green girl in a used poet. She has waited patient as a nun for the second coming when she can break through gray hairs into blossom. And her lovers will harness honey and thyme, and the woods will be wild with the damn wonder of it. Lucille Clifton. Thank you.